What's going on? Assalamu alaikum, everybody. Good Sunday. Have a good Sunday. How are you guys doing? I just wanted to have this quick live stream. If you want, you can call me, but I'll speak for a while before that. So I'm going to share the link. Here it is in the chat. There you go. This is the link. Click on it. You can call me. If you want, we can chat. The theme of today's live stream, I have like 45 minutes, so it's going to be slightly shorter. It's atheism, and it's my favorite topic because, to be honest, it's something I know from my first-hand experience because I used to be an atheist, and I like how some atheists say like, "Oh, you were never an atheist." Like what? like that can be said about anyone who leaves that current worldview. So, anyways, I was an atheist for quite a while, and yeah, I just wanted to describe or talk about what would your life be like like an atheist, because probably most people who are watching this are not atheists, or they are mostly Muslims. Let's be honest here. But it's good to think about these things so that you can actually get into the mind of someone from other perspective and just try and see what's going on. Can you tell something about lowering gaze? Just don't look at women, dude. Simple as that. I have no other advice to give you. And I live in the country where women don't wear anything. So, I mean, it's difficult, but subhanAllah, what can you do? Walaikum salam. Walaikum salam. All right, so you can call me on this link. Anyways, before that, so one thing I found consistent with when I sometimes engage with atheists, and it's never pleasant, but basically, one thing I noticed, and I noticed it from my own understanding when I used to be an atheist, I don't live like someone who doesn't believe in God. So basically, as a Muslim, I try to live by what I believe. That means, as a Muslim, I believe God is watching every second of the day. And if I fall short, I always try to come back, but I try to pray and do all the things that a Muslim should do and kind of like live that lifestyle because I believe in that. And even atheists don't believe in God. So they should live according that there is no creator, which has some implications. So, as an atheist, technically, you mostly just rely on science and the descriptive nature of the world around you. So you kind of, let's say, you want to describe to someone what is it, love, or what is grief. All those things are just some chemical reactions in your brain. In reality, those feelings do not it's just a perception in your mind. They don't really exist that much, to be honest. So that's, if you have that understanding of the world, you should really live that. Like, why, if somebody dies from your family and you're an atheist, why do you feel sad? Like, just understand those are just molecules and just your brain is playing with you. This doesn't really matter. It was just like a human being, but just molecules and atoms died, and it's not that big of a deal. So that's one thing. Anyways, let's go on with this. So one quick thing to remember when we are talking to, or when you are a Muslim, you have to understand that you have a GPS in life. What do I mean by this? Anytime in life that you feel lost or you don't know what to do with your life, you have Quran and Sunnah. So you can figure out what to do because you have a map of existence. You have a destination. What is the destination? The destination is Jannah, is heaven. So, okay, that's the final destination. What do I have to do? Pray, fast, do all these things. Okay, I'll follow. Boom. So you know what to do. You are never kind of like stuck in like, oh, I don't know what to do. Even though if you have a tough, let's say, life situation ahead of you, there's always a way out. As a believer, there's always a way out. And this is very kind of, I would say, personal right now, because even if you lose all the money, even if your wife leaves you and your kids, I don't know, something horrible happens in your life, there's always a way to come back to Allah, to come back to faith, and to just follow the path of Islam. This is always open. This never closes. Until you are alive, you can go follow the GPS and get to Jannah or wherever you're going. Anyways, And I wanted to say something because yesterday I just found out that one of my, as a childhood, like not a friend, he used to be in my class next in the school where I was. There was two classes, and he was in the next class, and he killed himself. I just found out yesterday. Subhanallah. And I don't know the reason. There's supposed to be like something about debt and owing money, but it's so strange, to hear this, because I think I clicked on his Facebook like a couple of days ago and just looked at it like randomly, just like reminding myself of this person who used to live like 15 years ago. We lived in one school. We saw each other kind of like acquaintances, not really friends, but just finding out like he killed himself. It's so crazy. So that's why it's important to have the GPS in life, so that whenever you have tough situation, you can always turn back to your creator, to the Quran and Sunnah, and just follow. Because otherwise you will feel lost. So what that means is, that's what I experienced as an atheist. You kind of don't know what to do at some point, because you start off your life, you have your parents, and you kind of, okay, you don't have some existential crisis in the beginning. However, then you have school, okay? And around the age of 15, 16, I don't know, you start growing up, and you get to the age where you have to make decisions for your own self. So you no longer rely on school, which kind of, it's okay to be atheist until then, because you have to follow a certain curriculum or whatever. And then you get into the work. Once you find out that you have to work until the age of 60 or 70, that's kind of difficult to grasp. And so you start working and you're excited or something like that. However, you will burn out at some point. And so work wise, you will have to basically face the challenge of figuring out, okay, is this the entire point of life? Is this the what life is about, to just work? And you can have this crisis in your 20s, or you can have it in your 40s. Anyways, you will have a deep depression from this. And then most people have problems. Let me just check some. Salam alaikum, the Muslim apologist. I saw you on the stream, but I just need a couple of more minutes and I'll let you in then. Just want to kind of preface this. So yeah, so you have to understand what is the purpose of life at that moment. And you can come up with your own purpose of life, or you can really go in depth, because maybe you don't want to think about those things, right? Anyways, even if you're 20, 30, and you're still trying to avoid this topic, you will come to a point where you come across death. So some of you will die, some of your friends will die, some of your family members will die, and then you will start to think about, contemplate about your own mortality, which means that you will start thinking about, okay, does my life even have a meaning or purpose? And so some people want to distract themselves from that knowledge, so they start drinking, they start just watching movies, just listening to music, just sleeping with women, just chasing any desire they can or any pleasure, so that they don't have to face the enormous reality of dying, because it's going to happen. There is nothing you can do about it. It's going to happen. And so if you don't want to think about it, you have to always kind of distract yourself from that reality. So you always have to go on a vacation, travel, have alcohol, and all those things, because you don't want to face your own death. You don't want to be like, no, I don't want to think about this. And so but the problem is, you only have your own body. So what you recognize is your own body. And so the entire purpose of your existence is to increase your pleasure of body, because that's the only thing you recognize as an atheist. So what do? Exactly what I said: sex, food, drugs, just to make your life as pleasurable as possible, so that you can enjoy it while it lasts, because it's going to end and you don't want to think about that. And so that's kind of your purpose of life. However, some people recognize this is not enough. I need to step up my game and get in touch with something deeper. So they start meditating, self-improving, doing some sports activities, maybe have a family. However, you still feel this emptiness. Okay, I have a family, I have children, there is my purpose, but it's still kind of like, is this an objective purpose? What's going on here? Or I have my career, I have self-actualized. So let's say I wanted to be a singer, and now I'm the best singer in the world. Or I wanted to be the best hockey player, and now I'm the best hockey player in the world. Yet I still feel depressed. I've achieved my goal, I should be happy. No, it's not like that. Something's wrong. And so that's kind of what it is. So you realize, okay, I can't achieve happiness through self-actualization, through my bodily pleasures. What else is there? So that's when you should look into religion. But most people don't get that chance. Most people just are stuck in that phase. So I'm gonna let people in to debate, to check, to speak. Yeah, I think that's it. I think that's all I wanted to say. One more thing, yeah. Increasing those bodily pleasures is just the lowest level of your needs. So you have these higher level needs like family, community, relationships, but even the highest one is transcendental spiritual needs, which you're not addressing. And so that's causing kind of like a depression. Anyways, that's what it is. Yeah, I can talk about my beard later. Yeah. Anyways, what's up? Salam alaikum. Can you hear me? The Muslim apologist.
Yes, walaikum salam. Loud and clear, loud and clear. Yeah.
All right, perfect. So, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good. Thank you for having me, brother Jen. Yeah, just thought, I saw your stream and I just thought I would like to jump in because
Nice.
I just came out from another stream. I had a live stream session with a brother from Singapore and we were sharing
Hmm.
uh our experiences as a born Muslim. What are the challenges facing a born Muslim as opposed to a revert Muslim? So
Okay.
just got out so I got out that program and then I saw your program. So I did, and you were talking about atheists, which is very interesting
Mm.
because I had a debate of sorts with an atheist last week. So some of the issues that you raised just now, that you were talking about the purpose of life, etc. What happens after after basically you live your life, you reproduce, you procreate, you have your career, and then what's next, right?
Have
So
you?
these are the so
Go
yeah
ahead. No, I
yeah.
just had
So
a question. So you've been a Muslim for your whole life. You've never been an atheist?
yes, I'm a born Muslim, Aki, or I would say now a born again Muslim.
Okay. So was there a
Yeah.
phase in your life where you kind of didn't follow Islam and you were kind of like secular or?
Well, not to say I didn't follow Islam, but yes, secular in thought and ideology. Yes, I would say yes. That is why
Mhm.
I found this. I rediscovered Islam again. But in my teens, well, late teens, I would say 22 years,
Mhm.
20 to 22 years old, I rediscovered that Islam again. So that's why I call myself a born again Muslim because before that I was very secular. Yeah, I separated my life from religion. Yeah. For me, at the time
Mhm.
before I discovered Islam again and became a born again Muslim, for me, religion or Islam was just a set of rituals that you follow daily. That's it, and you don't live the Islam. You don't need to understand what is Islam. You don't need to actualize the principles of Islam. You just need to follow the rituals, and that's it. Because as a born Muslim, you were taught from small to read the Quran, and in this part of the world,
Mm.
this region, the Southeast Asian region, especially, we were taught
Where are
a
you?
set of
Which
rituals.
region?
Southeast Asia, Malaysia, to be exact.
Nice. Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
I would love to
So
go there.
basically we were taught from small to follow a set of rituals and traditions, and that's what we do. You see, we are not taught about what Islam is. Unlike people like yourself who discovered Islam, and you found Islam because you know it's the truth, and because you have compared it with other philosophies or religions or whatever, and you know that you found Islam to be the truth, right? So unfortunately for us born Muslims, uh, we don't have this challenge. So because of this, we
Mm.
take things for granted. You see, we take things for granted, and
No,
life goes
yeah.
on as it is. Yeah, see.
Yeah, I think it's the
So
same.
yeah,
Like I was brought as a Christian, and I just did it because like everyone else was doing it around me. So it's the same
exactly.
situation, but then I just left. But if you really think deeply about Christianity, it's a fascinating religion. It's really good to think about it. But if you compare it, then you find out well, it's not really comparable to let's say
Yeah,
Islam or other things
yeah,
based on the preservation of the Bible or something like that. But
exactly,
I was
exactly.
never
Mm,
taught to think about Christianity. Like I don't. We had
yeah,
nuns who were teaching us. So
okay,
nuns were kind of
okay.
like teaching us about everything, but they
Mm-hmm.
never taught us like the basics. I don't even know like why am I Christian or what like, you know.
Okay,
So
I
I think
see.
it's important to just understand your faith, and then you
Yeah,
have to kind of scrutinize if your faith is correct, and that's not a
right,
pleasant
exactly,
process, right?
exactly. So
Yeah,
you raised as a Catholic?
yeah, Catholic, yeah.
I see. Okay, all right, right. I find that Catholics are very amenable to Islam, compared to the Protestants. From those who are from the Protestant strain,
Maybe.
they are a bit more. They are a bit more. I would say more. belligerent towards Islam,
Yeah.
especially those from the evangelical side of things. You see, but for Catholics
Yeah.
and Orthodox, even there are many of them very open to Islam actually. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it depends because, like, the reason I'm talking about atheism is it's very important that when you're trying to speak to someone of other belief system, it's sometimes it's a problem for born Muslims to actually, maybe from theory they understand, like, okay, you don't have a purpose in life for atheists, but that's not a good question to ask them, because I was an atheist for 10 years and that's not how you think as an atheist. So
You see.
what you need is like the first-hand experience, and I think that's value from my side, because I know how atheists think. I know exactly what thoughts goes in their mind. I was like a very militant atheist, and I know how Christians believe, how they think as well. So this is something like you can read about it, but until you live it, it's kind of difficult to explain. And so that's why I think, like, it's very difficult for kind of like atheists to convince me of anything, because I was an atheist. Like, what else? What can you tell me?
See.
Like, I know where this path leads. There's nothing. It's empty. It's
Mm,
nihilism at the end. So it's like
mm,
you can say it as a Muslim, but if you've never been an atheist, they will just look at you like, okay, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about.
yeah,
So
yeah.
like this is like also good to have this first-hand experience. I'm not saying you should become atheist, of course, but
No, no, of course not. Of
just
course
to
not.
imagine the life of an atheist. Just imagine
Yeah.
waking up, no
Basically,
prayer, no salat, no purpose.
basically understanding their worldview, right?
Yeah,
Understanding their
yeah.
worldview, where they're coming from. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like you're trying to deny. Basically, you have a dream or you have deja vu. You have these like moments in life. You feel many things in your life which are kind of supernatural in nature, um, like when someone dies, or I don't know, you feel love. But those things are non-existent. They are just like your projections in your mind. These things are irrelevant, and you should just go on with your life and die. That's kind of
Yeah.
the purpose, right? You don't have these things, they actually don't exist. So it's a
Yeah.
very sad existence, and it's important that we discuss it, because it's
Yeah,
promoted
yeah.
everywhere.
I think it's important for them to because the atheist that I was discussing, he was just dismissing everything. He was just saying, "Oh no, we don't have evidence for this. Or we don't know what
Yeah,
we don't believe that God doesn't exist because God cannot be measured by scientific evidence." I mean, what the hell?
yeah,
When in
true.
I was thinking to myself, I was like, how can you measure God by scientific evidence? He's God. See, I mean,
Yeah,
maybe it's because I've been a born Muslim all this while, so maybe I cannot understand where he's coming from. Yeah, but if you think about it, how can you measure God by scientific tools or scientific evidence? Because if God can be measured by human limitation, by our own human limitations and everything, then He is not God. It's that simple. You see, for
yeah.
me,
And but
that's how I understand God. Yeah.
it's good to take that, like, this evidence is such a cop out. You just take that and ask them, okay, what do you believe regard okay, you don't believe in God, what do you believe? So they say oftentimes, like, okay, we evolved from evolution, we evolved from monkeys, we have the common ancestor. So you can just ask them, okay, what's your evidence for that? And I don't accept testimony, I don't accept logical, I don't accept these things. I want the evidence. I want to see right now how monkey becomes a human. Show me. I only accept eyewitness report or whatever, right? So
Yes.
use the same level of evidence they ask you for their belief, because they have this belief. But this evolution is based on other people's tests. They haven't done the tests, so I don't accept that. Or they haven't witnessed these things in the lab of cross species mutations or whatever. So,
Exactly.
why are you scrutinizing me for something you don't even uphold your belief system? You just believe this because you've been taught it, but like,
Exactly.
where's the evidence? You know?
Exactly. So they don't have evidence whether God existed or not. I mean, they can't even prove that God doesn't exist. You see, that's the thing. You're claiming that God doesn't exist, but where's your proof that God doesn't exist? Just simply because God is not there? That for me is not convincing enough, right?
Yeah, but you can flip it around and ask them, okay, God doesn't exist, but you exist, right? Is that correct? Do you exist? And if they say, yeah, I exist, so okay, so explain your existence. How did you, what happened? So ask them how they explain their existence, because okay, okay, they don't see God, but they know they exist. So prove to me you exist. Give me some evidence. And it's very difficult, because in reality, you can't even prove this world exists. In some, if you
Yes.
scrutinize it very deeply, you can
Yeah.
prove it. You have to
Yeah.
accept it as like a priori principle in philosophy. So like
Yes.
everybody
Yes.
has to accept this world exists, because otherwise you can't
Yes.
conduct science. So if they use
Exactly.
science, they have to accept they exist and this world is real.
Mhm,
And so
mhm,
then, okay, explain to me how this world exists. And then they go
mhm.
into this Big Bang or whatever. And it's
Yeah.
kind of easy to just go with that logic and just go further. Don't stop at you. I don't know what caused the Big Bang. Well, let's look at the options. We have a couple of options, right? We have the option of nothing.
Yes.
We have the option of cyclical universe. We have the multiverse.
Yeah.
We have
Multiverse.
I don't know, multiple whatever things. We have
Mhm.
the quantum vacuum or whatever, string theory.
Yes.
Let's explore
Yes.
these things. Or we have the uncaused cause, something which stops this chain of infinite events or whatever it is, right? And so
Yes.
what's the most
Exactly.
rational option? Let's
Mm.
where's the evidence? Let's look at the evidence, right? So
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. Exactly.
it's pretty,
Exactly. Mhm,
yeah. But anyways, where what do you have like
mhm,
because
mhm.
you have a YouTube channel, or what's your kind of content? What do you do
Yes, I do.
as a
Yes, my YouTube
yeah?
channel is right there. The Muslim apologist. Yeah, that's a YouTube channel. Yeah, that's my YouTube channel's name. Yeah. Mhm.
Okay. Do you have any question about anything about atheism or about my or anything you want to ask me?
Maybe just one question.
Mhm.
Yeah. So you said that you were 80. So how did you, if you don't mind me asking, how did you find Islam? How did you, how do you come to the realization that Islam is more rational than atheism? Yeah.
I mean, I wasn't really looking for it. It kind of like I was not even interested in figuring out these questions. I never even asked them, to be honest. Like, what's the purpose
All
of
right.
life or nothing? Because I was just busy with my world dunya or business that I
Yes.
had. But I just came across a
Yeah.
few videos on YouTube, really. So it's all it took to just watch a few videos and then kind of like, because you try to ignore that part of yourself, especially in your early 20s. Like, you don't want to think about this. You want to focus on your career. You're young. You want to prove yourself to the world. So you don't really think about like religion. You just, I don't know. I never thought it's like interesting or important. I still have a lot of time until I die. Like, why would I even think about this? But then you realize, okay, you hear some talks, and then you hear some. I was listening to a couple of like Muslim speakers about death and all these things, and I was like, yeah, well, I faced some near death situations in my life, and yeah, I mean, I should really figure this out. Like, do I really believe atheism? Like, I don't know. I just kind of like opted into atheism because I didn't believe in Christianity, but like, I don't have a reason to believe in atheism. I never thought it through. I just kind of live my life like that. But
I see. I
you know,
see. I see.
it's a norm, right? Most people are
Yes.
atheists, so it's like you don't have to think much. You just kind of like, oh, there's no evidence for God. Okay, I don't know, and that's it. You keep repeating these things,
Mm,
so
mm,
you
mm.
can live
I see.
like that. But sometimes you can be like, okay, well, okay, there's no evidence or something, but okay, what what do we know? And then you get into these. I started with the cosmological things, but then it led me to like the Quran and learning more about like what's up with the Quran? Why is it special? Why? And I couldn't understand the difference until I got it, and I realized, okay, this is like a direct kalam. This is a speech of Allah. Okay,
Yes.
and
Mhm.
so that was like a game changer, kind of, and
Oh,
just
oh,
learning for I
oh.
think like a year and a half or two, yeah, until
Yes. I
I
see. I
realized
see.
like, okay, okay, I get it.
That's good
Rationality
to
is not
hear.
enough. Like, there's more things. There are things which are more rational in
Yeah.
this world. Uh,
Mhm.
like simple, like
Yeah.
what is pain, right? Like you can rationally explain to someone what is pain or what is sex, but they don't understand it until they try it out, and that's the first hand experience. And so the same
Yes.
thing with religion or with anything like that. You until you realize, you try it, you pray, you fast, you do these things, and only then you can actually know what it is. Before that,
Mm.
you can learn about it, but you don't actually know what I'm talking about. Like when I say I fasted and you never fasted, you don't know what I'm talking about. You're
Yes.
imagining, okay, what is fasting? Okay, I don't eat, but you don't know you don't understand it.
Yep.
So
You're right.
you have to try it out. You have to try it out.
Mhm, mhm, mhm.
Oh
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Good. That's good. That's good. Yeah. Good. Good to hear your experience. It's very interesting. So, okay, maybe one last question. So,
Hmm.
you said you were a Christian, right? So you somehow you skipped to atheism, and then finally you found Islam. why didn't you consider the idea of returning back to your original religion? Why Islam then? Why
No,
Islam is a better
I
option?
tried
Yeah.
it. I
Mm.
I I thought Islam is true, and then I for
Okay.
1 year I tried to become Christian. So not try to become Christian. I went to church, and I
Okay.
tried like because I was like I can't become a Muslim because there's no
Yeah.
mosques, there's nothing. Like how can I live
I
here
see.
like that?
Oh, where you
And then
where are you from, by the way? Where are you staying now, actually? Yeah.
I'm in Czech Republic.
Wow, Czech Republic. Wow.
Yeah,
Okay,
but
Eastern
I'm from
Europe, right?
Slovakia.
Oh, okay, 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 okay.
Yeah, Central Europe basically,
Central Europe. Yeah.
and so it's pretty. This is like the worst country in the world because there are no like any country around us has some Muslims. Germany, Austria, like all these countries has some.
Was it
We
Slovakia
don't.
or Czech which has a law saying that you can't have a mosque until you have a
It's
certain number
Slovakia.
of.
It's my country. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh, that's Slovakia, right? Yeah. What
Yeah.
about Czech? Czech Republic has a mosque.
They have some, but not official. No, no, no.
I see. Okay. All right. All right.
Yeah, it's the most difficult area of the world for Muslims because like on the right side, Russia and Ukraine, they allow Muslims. They have millions of Muslims. Then you have
Yes.
Turkey, millions of Muslims. Then you have Balkan,
Yes.
millions of Muslims. Then
Yes.
Germans, UK, millions of Muslims. Scandinavia, Muslims
Yes.
there. But here, no Muslims. This is the
Oh.
difficult. This is Poland, Czech Republic, Slovakia are very anti-Islamic. So
Oh,
it's like
wow.
I tried to become. I was like, it would be much easier. There are churches. I can just go
Yeah.
anywhere. I know the religion. Everyone in my family is Christian. It would be
Yes.
very nice for them. But I
Yes.
just thought like, well, it's not true. Like it's not true, and I can't cheat it. Like
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
what? So I was battling with this idea, for a
Wow.
while, and then I just said like, okay, well, whatever. You
Wow.
have
So,
to. You have to. You know, if you are
mhm.
sincere, you should follow
Yes.
the truth. So yeah, that's what I did.
Yeah. I hope you can come to Malaysia one day. You can see how
Yeah,
Muslims live
we
there.
wanna go. Me and
Yeah.
my
Please,
wife, we
please
wanted
do.
to go to Malaysia, yeah, for sure.
Inshallah. Please do. Alhamdulillah. Inshallah. I would love to meet you.
Inshallah.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Anyway, I have to go now, I guess. Thank you, Aki, for
All
sharing
right.
your story. Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you. Salam
Salam.
alaikum.
Don't forget to visit my channel.
All right. Sounds good.
All right. Salam alaikum. Yeah.
Alaikum salam. All right. Cool. That was nice. So guys, I'm gonna read through some comments because I don't think I went through them. If you want, you can call me and we can have a chat. I have maybe 25 minutes. So let me see what's happening here. Assalamu alaikum. Yes, Islam is the only religion that can make your heart and mind peace and true way connect to your creator. Yeah, it even says in the Quran that the hearts find peace in remembrance of Allah. That is true. Subhanallah. Walaikum salam. Yeah, learning useful is the most important. Of course, an atheist doesn't have anything called right or wrong. Well, if we talk about morality now, they drive the morality from usually social circles or just have this progressive view that, okay, morality improves with time, which is what Socrates thought. Like you can figure out what's wrong, but you don't know what's right. This was Socrates' idea. Like you can find what's wrong with the harm. So when you do like harm, but what's right you don't know, and you can never know. So this is his thought. It's very crazy actually if you think about it. But technically they don't have it, but no, they do drive their morality from normal social circles and from law, and you have all these things, so you can't just do whatever you want, of course. Parents that force their children to pray without understanding. Yeah, it's like you're driving your children away. If you are forcing your kids to wear hijab or to do something without actually knowing the reason why they are doing it, they will hate you and the religion. That's what happened to me as a Catholic. Like people were, I had to go and do something and I didn't understand the reason behind it because my mother didn't understand the reason behind it. And my dad, not my dad, my grandfather or grandmother didn't know actually as well. So they just said, just do it. And that's because of the lack of knowledge. So it's so crucial that if you are a Muslim parent, you actually know your deen really well, and you don't need to be a mufti or a scholar or something, but you have to be able to explain the basic idea of of Islam, like everything, 5 pillars, six pillars, whatever it is. You have to do this because otherwise it's gonna be very confusing for the kids. I don't have kids, I don't know, but I'm just saying, like, I'm not gonna force my kids into anything, but I will explain the benefit behind it, and I will push them to what's correct. But when they grow up, it's them, they are accountable for their own deeds. So yeah. Yes, many Christians are reasonable. Yeah, guys, tomorrow I'm dropping a huge podcast with Luke Caverns. He's a Christian who believes Jesus is not God. Very interesting guy. And so we've recorded a very friendly chat slash dawa. So he asked a lot of questions about Islam, and we also talked about cosmology and stuff. It's really good. So check it out tomorrow. It's dropping. And this is how I believe the debates or talking between Christians or atheists or Muslims should be. It should be respectful. It should be with trying to understand the other person's perspective. And since I was a Christian, we mostly focused on the Islamic side because I understand the Christian perspective. Anyways, a really good discussion. So guys, go check that out. And yeah, if Christians are reasonable, they will be very open to Islam because it makes more sense if you believe in God. Anyways, what convinced you to leave Christianity for atheism? Nothing. I just left because it's like usual. Like you grow up and you just kind of like, people just say, oh, this is just made up. Like you don't hear much arguments. No one gives you any kind of like logical argumentation for Christianity. So at the age of 15 or 16, once you start thinking your own thoughts and you start deciding for your own self, you realize like, okay, why are priests collecting money? Where's this? There's a ton of pedophilia cases. And even recently there was a giant one in Slovakia and in, I think, I don't know where in France, but there's this thing like, okay, what's this? This is a problem. And you actually don't understand the Bible. So you, as a Christian, yeah, you don't really go deep into your own religion that much. You just go to the church, but in the church they keep reciting the same passages from the Bible. They don't tell you about the stoning or whatever it is. And so yeah, so you just leave because it doesn't make sense, and you just adopt atheism because that's what it is. Everything is subjective in atheism. It doesn't exist, but they're mind in a box. Yeah, but that's coming from your idea as a Muslim, but that's not how it works, actually. I was an atheist and I had morality. I believed in right and wrong. It wasn't just derived from God, but I could create my own morality. It is subjective, of course, but it exists. So you have to understand this. Like when you say this, it's clear you weren't an atheist, maybe. I don't know, maybe you were, so correct me. Of course. It's impossible. I mean, for science to know everything about the world, well, it depends what science, but you can always do more experiments. So logically, you can never finish it. So yeah. It's not a belief system, but you must have some other beliefs. So atheism doesn't actually create any belief system, but you can't live your life not believing in anything. That's impossible. Like you can't be a person who doesn't believe in anything. So you have to believe in human rights, or you have to believe in, I don't know, obeying traffic laws. Like you have to do this to live your life. And so yeah, that's the belief system they have. So they believe in evolution, they believe in traffic laws, they believe in the state, they believe in family, some of them, or something like that. Those are the things that you should ask them. Why are you believing in these things? Because that's a belief system, right? That's a belief system. As a Muslim, you have all these things coming from a source, but they have them based on social conditioning or whatever. So that's something to ask, you know. Science accepts causality, of course. Causality is the first principle of it's known a priori. Causality implies God. Imply, yeah. It's not scientific. One of my friends died when he was 17. Exactly. Like when your friends start dying, that's when you realize, like, okay, I should really figure out what's happening in this life, because there's a ton of people dying and they're dying young. I had few friends who died young, and it's never, I still remember one of my friends died on a motorcycle, and we weren't like very close, but it's like one day he was just, it's like a crazy story. I'm not going to mention it because it's kind of about my family as well, but it was just like we met like a day before, and then motorcycle, and he died. There was a crash, and it's just like, wow, he was just like 25. And yeah, there's death everywhere basically. This life is, the purpose of life is to achieve successful death. Like, so if you try to cheat death by freezing yourself in ice or uploading your consciousness in the cloud, that doesn't make sense, because this life was designed to die. This is what you have to do in this life, to die successfully. And the only way you can die successfully is to be submitted to God. So can you be submitted to God as a Jew or a Christian? I don't know. I don't know. If that's basically saying you're implying that, well, there wasn't the last prophet. The Quran isn't the revelation. Indirectly, you're saying that. So it just makes sense to follow the last one. Assalamu alaikum. And not too much changed for me when I became an atheist. Yeah, it doesn't change much of your life. Like, I'm still the same guy. It's just my inner peace, my inner whatever. That's the most change. When I asked about God, non-Muslim, they don't able to answer. So don't ask them about God. Ask them about their existence. Or our feelings of right and wrong relate to our relationship with those around us. Yeah, that's what I said. Like, food and religion is an atheist, I guess, and I've seen you more times. And I agree. This is what I had as well. Like, your sense of right and wrong is derived from society and from your relationships. So you have morality, but it's subjective, because where do these guys draw their morality from? These relationships. So imagine you're in Nazi Germany and everyone is on board slowly but surely to kill 6 million people. And maybe in the beginning you feel there's something wrong with it, but as your family gets on board and maybe your whole city gets on board, you just kind of like follow them, because it's like everyone's doing it. And that's the danger of subjective morality. You will fall victim to it because your morality depends on other people or your society or your country. So if you don't have a source of it, you will then go where the crowd goes, which you just said. Your feeling of right and wrong is coming from your relationships. So yeah, that's what it is. What about the population declining in Europe? I don't think it's declining, but yeah, everybody has like 1 or 2 kids. I think Muslims are the most population here at the in the near future. It's just people don't want to have a kids, or they don't get married. So if you have 3 kids, it's very strange here. If you have 2 children, it's weird. It's okay. It's okay. It's not weird. 2 kids are okay. 1 is like okay, but none is the best. Yeah, India has a massive problems now with the Hindu nationalist movement, right? Forcing is haram. Islam, we have to teach in an appropriate way. Exactly. Every human need religion like Islam because you need to have principles in your life. Yeah, exactly. Like, but you have to think about it. If you don't want to think about how to live the best life, then you don't need religion. You can live your life without any religion. You can live it. That's fine. You don't need religion in your life. If you don't ask what happens after I die, or if you are not concerned with that, or if you don't really think about, okay, like all the time thinking about where I came from, where's this universe, if you just live in ignorant lifestyle and you just say, I don't know, 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 then yeah, you can live like that, but it's not very healthy life. I would just chase materialism for all my desire. I would not be true self, but I would be depressed. Yeah, basically it's not like that. Usually when I was an atheist for 10 years, I didn't really chase all my desires, but there's nothing to prevent you from going one step further. So in Islam, maybe as an atheist you think I'm a good guy, like I don't kill people, I'm a good guy. But in Islam there are sins, right? And an atheist doesn't have a sin. It's impossible. There are no sins. So you might say like, okay, I'm just gonna get drunk tonight, or I'm gonna hook up with this girl, or I'm gonna, I don't know, smoke weed. I'm gonna, I don't know, swear and say bad things about people. I'm gonna take a mortgage. I'm gonna gamble. I'm gonna, I don't know, sell drugs, whatever to make money. You know, all these things are open to you, but you don't want to become a criminal because, of course, you belong to society and you have these innate fitra, plus you have these principles, law, and everything. So you can't do everything, but you will go into these like gambling. You will build an addiction into some beer or wine, and you will, like, I was drinking wine every night. I was drinking wine almost every day, a bottle of wine, and I was addicted to it. With my wife, we were drinking a lot actually. And then on the Friday, you drink like 8 to 10 beers with your buddies, and you get smashed. Then you smoke cigarettes. Then you smoke weed. Then you sleep with someone. Then you throw up. Then you have to spend 2 days in the bed to again go to work. Then from the work you work. Then you again get drunk. You get into this intoxication. Then again you wake up. You spend 2 days in the bed to try to comprehend what happened. Then again you go into the week. Then again you get drunk. You try to take drugs. You try to then again, and this repeats. This is a cycle for since the age of 17 until the age of like 28, 29. I was in this. I couldn't break it. I couldn't stop drinking for 1 week. It was impossible because I was addicted. There's nothing to stop you, and that's the problem. Many people won't go overboard, so they won't like kill themselves with drinking, or they won't take too much drugs because they recognize there's this barrier. But still, it destroys your health, destroys your relationships, destroy you. I'm not even talking spiritually now. So just living your best life is only possible in Islam because it prevents these things from happening. If you don't have a system that prevents these things from happening, you will forever fall victim into them because you don't have anything to stop you from engaging in these things. So that's the danger. And I don't think you would just call a prostitute and just do the whole desire thing, but you would just slowly become a victim of these desires, and shaitan will be all over you, man. And like within a year, you would be like very depressed. This guy's copying this guy is copying this this paragraph. When are you going to the pilgrimage? Inshallah, in the future. I'm not sure. I want to do Umrah maybe next year, inshallah, but I need to find some people because I don't want to do it alone. This guy seems very reasonable. Who, Luke? Yeah, the guy, he's very good. How atheists live. I just told you how they live. It's pretty simple. It's actually easy. You just don't think much. And you just recognize this reality. You just recognize your day-to-day. And if you want something more, you take drugs, or you take LSD, or you smoke some frog, or you do meditation, or you do sports, or you write poetry, or you do movies because you want to express something inside of you. However, that doesn't exist, right? Like, what are you expressing if you don't have a soul, or you don't have this mythical thing in you, this spiritual thing? Then what are you trying to express? What, atoms or what? Why Slovakia chicken founders so anti-Islam? Yes, it's because of the Turkish history and killing. So we hate Turks. No, not really directly, but we don't like anyone who's brown, and we don't like immigrants because we were like locked up in communism for 4 years. So we don't like other people, but many people are here from all over the world. But we just, we prefer to keep it to ourselves. To figure out so many things on your own. Hope that you're right. No objective guidance. That's it. When I was an atheist, I didn't know about the term nihilism. That's what I was falling into. Exactly, Murtaza. Salam alaikum, by the way. That's what I fell into, because that's the logical end of atheism. If you overthink it, you must come to conclusion that there is no objective purpose in your existence. This is all just play. We're pretending to have life, but overall, this doesn't have any. There's no meaning into it. So it makes you very depressed. It's like this realization is the key to a miserable life, and yeah, I just don't wish it on my worst enemy. All atheists are nihilists? No, only those who think. So most atheists are not nihilists because they don't actually think through their logic. But I would say many of them do. Yes, guys, I'll have to leave very quickly. But I'm just gonna look at some of the other points. You need a moderator, Jan. Yeah, I'm gonna block this guy. Dude, don't spam. All right. Yes, there's a link to call me. I have few minutes. Here, call me on this thing. I was an atheist, dude, so I can debate with myself. And I debated with atheists. But I don't want to debate. I'm just reflecting on my own experience. So I'm not here to debate atheists, by the way. This is just a live stream to call me in. It's for Muslims, so they can understand what atheists, like how atheists live their life. It's not a debate about whether atheism is correct or Islam. I'm not interested in that. Guys, call me here if you want, and I'll have to jump off in 4 minutes. So that's the modern day debate show or atheists. What? Yeah, but I'm not interested in debating. That's the thing. Hey, what's up? Arslan, can you hear me? Salam alaikum.
Walaikum.
Hello?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. How are you?
Yeah, I'm great. How are you?
Good. So where are you from?
Yeah, so originally I'm from Pakistan, but I'm living in Germany.
Nice. Where in Germany?
In Bavaria, near Munich.
Oh, Munich. Okay, that's good. So
south of Germany. Yeah, so I thought that I recently came to know about your channel and I found it very interesting.
nice. Okay.
And I also had a couple of because I'm also associated with the university here, and I have had conversation with some of my colleagues about atheism, etc. Because just to understand their point of view about, and I'm living in Germany since almost a decade now. So I also understand the psychology of the people quite a lot. Like I've seen because they have been working with me. I was also a student, so I understand like their point of view about the life, etc. But sometimes it's also quite strange the way, just like how you said that most of them, they don't really think deeper about their lifestyle, and
Yeah.
it can be quite meaningless. But a lot of them are not. I think that they are not ready to acknowledge that that's the case. Maybe they don't think about it, or like once I was having a conversation with one of my colleague, and she said that she likes the idea of this community that the religious groups have, but she cannot follow some book which is thousands of years old or 1,000, 2,000 year old.
Yeah.
So it is quite strange, like that the concept of the community, but the community comes from following certain ideology, that you are a group of some people believe in something, and then you have something to common to think about. That cannot be pure based on your nationality or your religion. You are, how do you say, that you're belonging to a certain region, etc. And I think
By the
that's
way,
the
I like that this guy says like thieves are close-minded. By the way, if I was close-minded, I would stay atheist forever. So yeah. Anyways, go on.
Yeah, so I think that this the topic, like the way I see the Europeans, like a lot of them, they are quite good people. Like they would not lie or they would not cheat, etc. But a lot of them are not introduced to Islam in a proper sense. And I feel like if they see the reality of Islam, that how much propaganda it has been made by the media, etc., and they realize the importance of the message that Islam teaches. Just like, for example, during the time, if you might know the Mongols or the Mughals, or the Mongols who had the how they had attacked the Muslim land and they had killed the Khalifa and all these, etc. And then later on they became the defenders of Islam. This can also happen in future with the Europeans. I mean that it's not completely difficult for Allah to do it. That if the dawah and other things inside the Europe is done properly, then many people would become Muslim, and they would because from our perspective as a Muslim, Islam is the truth, and I think that this is very important that we as a Muslim also act upon Islam and also spread, because in any case, according to the Prophet, the hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Islam will prevail, whether we do it ourselves or somehow it will happen. It is more like it. What role do we play in doing that?
Yeah, I think I don't think that's gonna happen, to be honest. Like because it's so difficult, the transition to become a Muslim as a European, because I did it. I don't think that's gonna be possible for most people. Like you have to really strip your everything away from you, and you even your idea of yourself and your ego, and this is very difficult for people. Most people are not gonna even think about these questions, and that's just the beginning. Now to go through the whole, like, why is the Quran preserved, and just really researching this is only when you have like a sincere intention. Like most people don't have this. Like most of my family are not even interested to talk about this. They don't. My mom doesn't even want to think about death. So like, how do you you can explain Islam, but if they don't even consider death, then all this is like fairy tales for them. So
Yeah,
it's very
yeah,
difficult. Most people are very closed off. They don't want to acknowledge anything. Yeah.
yeah, that's true. But what do you think is the long, because Europe, I think, has been in worse condition than this. Like, think about the communism, etc., when it was
Yeah.
completely forbidden any religion. And even
True.
in the Muslim countries, like in the Central Asia, in Uzbekistan and others, where religion was completely banned and so many whole generations of Muslims were killed. And then after the communism left, it's not like the people become completely atheist and now they don't want anything to do with the religion. Rather, the religion started coming back. Of course, it will not
Yeah.
happen in just within 10 years or 20 years. But the Europe also reached its low in terms of
But that's it also. I'm from a communist country, so that happened in
yeah.
Bosnia. So like in Bosnia, which is a Muslim country, when communism fell, they embraced Islam again, and now it's like 50-60% are Muslims. But this is not gonna happen in Catholic countries or Christian countries, because Islam from our paradigm is true and Christianity isn't. So like it's even if communism left, they don't go back to the faith. We actually lost, I think, in the last census, 300,000 Christians, which was done. So like, it's losing, the Christianity. So those countries are becoming more atheistic in Europe if they don't have Islam, which none of them have, except Turkey and Bosnia. All the others are Christian, so they all leave Christianity at the end, usually. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah.
But we can be hopeful. It's not like because we also believe in the ahadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, etc. So we know that the like how he said that the message of Islam will reach every household.
Yeah.
So
True.
and that we see that how it's happening, and the with social media. So, okay, social media also has many negatives, but one positive is also that it's spreading the message of Islam as well in a
True.
positive or negative light. That's debatable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, I have to go. So there's one more person. Do you have any quick question at the end?
Not really.
Okay. Well, it was nice talking to you. Salam alaikum. And
Walaikum assalam.
maybe when I'm in Germany, let me know.
Have a nice
All
day.
right.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam. Hello.
Hello.
Salam alaikum. Toby Bur, can you hear
Walaikum
me?
salam. Yes, Jan. How are you?
Good. I have only like 3-4 minutes, so if you
sure.
have any
So
question, let me know, and be
yeah,
happy
yeah,
to
sure.
answer.
So right now I have two friends who are atheists, and I'm debating with them, like discussing and debating. So
Okay.
one is fully close-minded. So he don't even like to, just as just like before you said, like not even interested to ask these
But
questions.
this guy in the comments thinks that close-minded can be only like someone who's a theist. So that's pretty
Yeah,
strange. Okay.
no,
Yeah.
no,
Go ahead.
yeah, goes the same way. Like so this guy, he's close-minded, and one is he's a bit open-minded, but full of misconceptions and Islamophobic kind of things. So so what advice would you give for both of them? Like one is a bit open-minded, but one is fully close-minded. He don't want to listen also. So they are my good friends, by the way.
Okay. I mean,
Yeah.
what did you tell them? Like, do they know about like? I mean, do they don't believe in God, right? So what do they believe
Yeah,
in?
yeah. So the first one, he is actually like Darwinism. Like he believes in Darwinism and evolution and all those kind of things.
Okay.
And uh, and the other one, he is like a scientism. Scientism is like believe in science, and science is
Oh,
superior.
okay,
And
I get it. I get
yeah,
it. So I only have one advice, unfortunately, because I don't have much time. But
yeah, sure.
it
No
works
problem.
for both. It's so most of them will use like the evidence-based approach. So they
Yeah,
say like, oh, there's no evidence for God, or there's no evidence for this.
right.
Therefore, I don't believe in God, or I don't follow this.
Mm.
And they follow the scientism or something like evolution or whatever.
Right.
However, there's no evidence for that either. So
Yeah,
you can just
yeah.
use the same logic, they say, use the same scrutiny, and for
Yeah.
the evolution part, just ask, okay, is there a controlled environment in the lab where you can see cross-species mutations or evolution from, let's say,
Yeah.
a different species to a different one? I'm not talking a polar bear going brown or brown going white, but different species mutating into each other. Can you observe this? Because if not, then what's your evidence for this?
Right.
And say that you don't accept testimonies.
Actually,
You don't accept none of that.
yeah, actually, I know much of the arguments because I also
Yeah.
watch a lot of debates about this. But the thing is about the approach I'm asking. Like, so yeah, some of the arguments, like obviously some contingency arguments and all those arguments, I have tried with the open-minded guy, but
Yeah.
like I also think like our characteristics and behaviors will also like maybe it might help. So
I'm already seeing people confused in the comment section. Like, there's no evidence for evolution. Well, okay, so like we need to think about what is evidence. So like we don't. So
right.
you don't accept logic or testimony as an evidence. So we don't accept that. So now what?
Yeah.
I only want eyewitness. I want to see the mutation happening in front of my eyes. Or I want to
like,
create such a crazy level of evidence. I'm not able to meet it because your evidence depends on science, but you haven't done the science. You just trust the scientists. So that can be falsified. Like there's I want 100% evidence.
Yeah.
So,
and
that's it. Yeah.
Yeah. I understand. And I've been following you, and I like your content. And obviously, I was very happy when you converted, and you're like,
oh really? Okay.
Yeah. I saw your story a little bit, so that's it.
Nice.
Anyways,
By the way,
I won't take much time. Yeah.
Thank you. That's fine. That's fine. Thank you. Jazakallah khair and salam alaikum.
Walaikum.
Hey Danny, I'm really sorry, but I announced that I have to leave for in a 1 minute. So I have 1 minute. So if you have a question, ask me. But I'm not making up anything. It's really 1 minute only.
I'll just come back later. It's hard to have a good discussion in 1 minute, but maybe later.
Yeah.
Thanks. Anyways, you have a good one.
Yeah. All right. Okay. See you later. All right, guys. Thank you so much for the stream, and let's catch up in some other time. Have a great week ahead, and let's chat soon. See you later.